Imagine this. You've just failed. A project you worked on for months collapsed. Your plans fell apart. The people you trusted let you down. At this moment, most people panic. They lose motivation, start overthinking, and get stuck in a spiral of frustration. But is there another way? A way to turn every failure into an advantage. A way to stay focused, unshaken, and even more determined no matter what happens. That's exactly what Stoicism teaches. And today, I'll show you how to use its principles to win at life, even when everything goes wrong. These lessons have been used for over 2,000 years by leaders, warriors, and thinkers who refuse to be broken by adversity. If you apply them, you'll gain an edge that 99% of people will never have. Most people struggle with setbacks because they've been conditioned to seek comfort. Society tells us that failure is bad, that obstacles mean we should stop, and that if things don't go our way, we've lost. But the truth? Success doesn't belong to those who avoid difficulties. It belongs to those who embrace them. And that's what the Stoics understood better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man on earth as the Emperor of Rome. Yet every day he faced war, betrayal, and personal tragedy. Instead of breaking down, he wrote words that still guide us today. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In other words, you can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. So let's dive into the 3 core Stoic principles that will change the way you approach challenges, setbacks, and even failures. The first one, learning to control the controllable. One of the biggest reasons people feel lost and overwhelmed is because they spend most of their energy worrying about things outside their control. They obsess over other people's opinions, fear uncertain outcomes, and stress over past mistakes that they can't change. But here's the truth. None of those things are up to you. The Stoics believed in something called the dichotomy of control. The idea that there are only 2 things in life, what you can control and what you can't. Everything else doesn't matter. You can't control whether people will always support you. You can't control if the market crashes, if your business idea flops, or if unexpected problems come your way. But you can control your thoughts, your actions, and how you decide to move forward. Think about it. If you waste energy on things you can't change, you're giving away your power. You're letting external forces dictate your emotions, your mindset, and ultimately your future. But when you focus only on what you can control, your effort, your discipline, your response, you become unstoppable. Imagine an entrepreneur who poured everything into their business, only for it to fail. The average person would see this as the end. They'd sink into self-pity, telling themselves they weren't good enough or that life isn't fair. But a Stoic, they recognize that failure isn't the end. It's just information. They analyze what went wrong, focus on the lessons, and start again. That's what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." And this leads us to the second rule of winning at life, training yourself to embrace discomfort. Most people avoid hardship. They want to succeed, but they don't want to struggle. They want to be strong, but they avoid anything that makes them feel weak. But here's the reality. True strength isn't built in comfort. It's built in challenge. The Stoics had a practice called voluntary discomfort. They would intentionally expose themselves to difficult situations to build resilience. Marcus Aurelius would sleep on the floor, even though he had a palace. Seneca would eat only the simplest foods, even though he was wealthy, to remind himself that he didn't need luxury to be happy. And today, some of the most successful people do the same. Athletes push themselves through grueling training, knowing that pain today means strength tomorrow. Entrepreneurs take calculated risks, knowing that failure is part of the process. Those who embrace discomfort intentionally become unstoppable when life throws unexpected challenges at them. Think of someone like David Goggins, one of the toughest men alive. He wasn't always like that. He was overweight, struggling, and full of self-doubt. But instead of making excuses, he made a decision to push himself through the hardest challenges possible. Running ultra marathons, going through Navy SEAL training, he conditioned his mind to never quit. That's what embracing discomfort does. It prepares you for anything. But what if you're not naturally resilient? What if you struggle with self-discipline? The answer is simple. Start small. Expose yourself to controlled discomfort. Take cold showers. Wake up earlier than you want to. Set goals that stretch you beyond your comfort zone. When you train yourself to handle small difficulties, you develop the ability to face bigger ones. And this brings us to the final and most powerful Stoic lesson, turning every setback into fuel. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that obstacles aren't there to stop you. They're there to shape you. Every time you hit a roadblock, you have two choices. See it as the end, or use it as a stepping stone to something greater. History is filled with people who turned failure into success because they refused to see obstacles as permanent. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company, only to return years later and revolutionize the tech industry. These people didn't just survive setbacks, they used them as fuel to push even harder. The question is, how do you do the same? The answer is simple: shift your perspective. The next time something goes wrong, don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, ask, "How can I use this to my advantage?" When you get rejected, instead of thinking, "I'm not good enough," think, "What can I learn from this?" When you face an obstacle, instead of stopping, think, "How can I turn this into an opportunity?" The way you see problems determines how you deal with them. If you see challenges as threats, you'll always feel like a victim. But if you see them as training, you'll develop an unbeatable mindset. Every great success story is built on setbacks. The only difference is that winners use them as fuel instead of excuses. So now, you have a choice. You can keep seeing obstacles as problems, or you can see them as training. You can let failures break you, or you can let them shape you. You can keep reacting emotionally, or you can start thinking like a Stoic. The road to success isn't about avoiding difficulty, it's about mastering your response to it. Control what you can, train yourself for discomfort, and turn every setback into an advantage. That's how you win at life, no matter what happens. Now I have one question for you. Which of these Stoic principles will you apply first? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And if you found this valuable, subscribe for more Stoic wisdom that will help you stay strong, focused, and unstoppable. See you in the next video.